Good morning, everyone. We are back out to school, and today we are going to start talking about animals. That's our theme for this term. We are going to be talking about animal habitats. Now, that word habitat is a big word. A habitat is a home for an animal, and animals live in different homes depending on the type of animals they are. So today we are going to talk about some animals and their habitats or homes. Here we have a dog. A dog is a domestic animal. Domestic means it can be a pet or it can get close to humans. So this dog is a domestic animal. It can live inside your home in a dog basket, or it can have a home like this outside, a dog house or a dog kennel. Here we have rabbits. Now rabbits can be domestic or they can be wild. When rabbits are domesticated, they will usually live in our homes or on farms in a hutch, like this one. This is a cat. It is domestic, and a cat lives in a cat carrier or a cat basket. These are chickens. Chickens are domestic, but they are farm animals. They will live on a farm in a chicken coop. These are cows or cattle. They will live in a barn. Here we have pigs on a farm. They are also domestic, but here they are on a farm. Pigs will live in a pig sty or a pig pen. These are horses. Horses live on a farm in stables. So these are horse stables. Now a fox is a wild animal. Foxes live in dens. Dens are holes. Here we have polar bears. Polar bears live in dens too, but their dens are made in the snow. And this is a brown bear. Bears live in dens as well. Their dens are bigger. Sometimes they can live in caves too. Here we have snakes. Snakes live in dens as well. So this is a snake's den. And they can also live under dried leaves or in holes, maybe even in rotten tree trunks. This is a meerkat. Meerkats live in burrows. Burrows are dug under the ground. These are raccoons, and they are living in a hollow. A hollow is a hole in a tree trunk. Here we have an owl. He is camouflaged really well. This owl is living in a hollow too, a hollow in a tree trunk. Here we have birds' nests. Now this is a special type of nest. The bird that lives in this nest, we call it a yellow plantain bird in Trinidad. They build a special nest, just like these bees here. This is a different type of nest. We call it a bee hive. And if bees are on a farm, they live in a bee apiary. This turtle walks around with his home. Turtles live in their shell. Their shell is attached to their bodies. Just like this snail here, it carries its home with it. Here is an ant's nest or an ant's patch, and this is where ants live. This leopard here hangs out in trees, so this is his home or habitat. And beavers build a lodge. To get to their lodge, they have to go into the water and up to the middle of the lodge to go where it is dry. These are dolphins. Dolphins live in the ocean. They live in ocean water. Manatee live in rivers. And lastly, we have tropical fish. They will live in a coral reef, and this is in the ocean. So you see, many animals live in many different types of homes. When I teach, I'll teach a little bit more about animal habitats or animal homes. Good morning, everyone. So, today we are going to begin our theme on animals. We are going to start by talking about animal habitats. Now, that word habitat is a big word. A habitat is a home for an animal or a place where an animal lives. So what's a habitat? A home for an animal or where an animal lives. Now habitats are special because they have special resources to help animals survive. Some habitats have different temperatures. Like places where there is ice and snow, it's going to be very cold. And the desert will be very hot. Some animals live in cold temperatures, some live in hot temperatures. Habitats will also have special plants, fruits, and food for animals to feed on. Habitats will also have clean water to drink, and they will have places for animals to reproduce and make babies. So habitats are suited for animals to survive, to live, and to make more of their kind, to make lots and lots of babies, to make more of their own kind. So today we are going to start by talking about domestic animal habitats and wild animal habitats. Now, domestic means close to humans. So when I talk about a domestic animal habitat, I am talking about a place where domestic animals live. Domestic animals are animals that can get close to humans, like pets or farm animals. They don't bite, so we can play with them, touch them. Those are domestic animals. Wild animals, on the other hand, can we touch them? Wild animals like lions and tigers? No, we can't. So they are animals that we cannot get close to. They have a different type of habitat. Now, domestic animals rely on humans to feed them, to give them a bath, to groom them. But wild animals don't need humans to help at all. Wild animals will hunt for their own food or find their own food. So domestic animals are different from wild animals. So let's start by talking about some domestic animal habitats. Now the first kind we are going to talk about is pets. Pets are domestic animals. They are animals that we will keep in our homes. We will have them in cages, baskets, and beds. They are animals that we can touch and play with. Now, here I have a dog. A dog is a pet. A dog can live in a dog house, or a dog basket, or even a dog kennel. So a dog is a pet and it is a domestic animal. A cat is another pet. A cat can live in a cat basket or a cat carrier. Fish. Fish are domestic. We feed fishes. They can live in an aquarium, a fish bowl, or even a fish pond in our yard. So they are also pets and domestic. Even a turtle is a domestic pet. A turtle has a special home. It carries its home with it. This turtle carries its shell on its back. So the turtle doesn't need a special home. It can live in its own shell. So it carries its home. So those are some pets. What about farm animals? Farm animals are also domestic too. They need humans to feed them, humans to bathe them, and clean their homes as well. Like horses. Horses are farm animals. They live on a farm, they are domestic, and they will live in horse stables. Cows or cattle, they live on a farm, they are domestic, and they will live in a barn. And even chickens. Chickens are farm animals. They will live on a farm and they will live in a chicken coop. So, pets and farm animals are domestic animals and they have their own habitats. When we come back, we'll talk about some wild animal habitats. Now let's talk about some wild animal habitats. Wild animals are animals that cannot be close to humans. They live in the wild. There are different types of habitats for wild animals. Some of them live in deserts, the ocean, rivers, lakes, the tundra. All of those are different types of habitats and environments. So let's talk about a few of them. Now we are going to talk about ocean habitats. There are many animals that live in the ocean. There are animals that roam free in the ocean, like dolphins. Dolphins will travel the ocean. Also, octopus. We even have sharks. They are all ocean animals. Some animals stay in coral reefs. Now, coral reefs are located in the ocean, but some animals only live in the coral reefs, like tropical fish. Coral reefs are closer to the surface of the water, so tropical fish live here. Seahorses, crabs, lobsters, all of those are animals that will live more in coral reefs rather than deep ocean waters. So we have the ocean habitat. We also have grasslands and savannas. Now, grasslands and savannas are made up of lots and lots of grass. Okay? You will find animals living out in the open, like this cheetah over here. The cheetah usually lives by itself, so it will sleep out in the open grassy area. Giraffes as well. Giraffes will sleep out in the open, maybe resting their head on the branch of a tree. We even have meerkats. Now, meerkats don't stay out in the open because they are so small. They will dig a burrow and go under the ground. But they do live in grasslands and savannas. Even tigers. Tigers will live out in the open in the grassland, or they might find a den to live in, a place where their family can stay. So we have grasslands and savannas that are also habitats. What about forests? There are regular forests like woodland forests, and we even have tropical forests too, rainforests. Animals like raccoons will live in the hollow of a tree. That is a hole in a tree trunk, and they will live in woodland forests. There are also bears. Bears will live in caves or dens, and brown bears and black bears will live more in forested areas. So here we have a bear in a cave. Tropical forests and rainforests will have lots and lots of brightly colored animals. Like this toucan here. The toucan lives in a tropical rainforest. And this parrot here. Parrots also live in tropical rainforests too. So we have forest animals. Even desert animals like a cobra snake. The king cobra will go and live under the rocks or under the sand. He will bury himself. Camels. Camels will sleep out in the open in the desert. So all of these are different wild animal habitats. We had domestic animal habitats and wild animal habitats. Now our lessons today will be based on different animal habitats. So when we come back, we will talk about some of those animals and where they will live. Our first year students are going to be doing an activity that's all about matching animals to their habitats or homes. Now here we have 5 different animals and 5 different habitats or homes. There is a duck, a bird, a hamster, a cow, and a dog. And the habitats that we have here are a barn, a pond, a doghouse, a hamster cage, and a tree with a nest in it. Now you have to match these 5 animals to their correct habitats. So that's what our first year students are doing. Now different animals have different habitats. Here I have a dog, and this dog lives in a dog house. So this is the dog's habitat. A dog can live in a dog kennel, a dog house like this, or even a dog basket. Dogs are domestic animals. They are pets. Here I have an animal that's a wild animal. This is a bear, and his habitat is a cave or a den. This bear is hibernating in a cave. So he is a wild animal, and this is his habitat. And here I have 2 birds, and they are living in a bird house. Now this will be our craft on Saturday. We are all going to make a bird house like this. These birds can live in a birdhouse or even make a nest of their own. So this is their habitat, and they are living in a birdhouse here. So just like these animals, all other animals live in different habitats. So our first year students have their activity. Our second year students are going to circle the animals that do not live in the habitat given. So we have 5 habitats: the ocean, the forest, the barnyard or farm, jungle, and a person's home. And there are 4 animal options for each. Now the first one here, the ocean. We see a fish, a bird, an octopus, and a dolphin. I did the first one by circling the bird because the bird is the animal that does not belong. It is the animal that does not live in the ocean. The other 3 do. So do you understand? We are circling the animals that do not live in the habitats given. And I also colored the habitat and all the animals too. Let's do a little quiz or a little test. We have some animals here. Let's see if we can identify the animals that do not belong to the same habitat. Now the first habitat is the ocean. Here we have a sea turtle, a leopard, a fish, and a shark. Which one of these animals does not belong? Which one does not live in the ocean? That's right, the leopard. The leopard does not live in the ocean. It will live in a forested area or even a grassland or savanna area. So we have the leopard that does not belong. This area here, or this habitat, is the forest. Let's see the animals now. We have an owl, a rabbit, and this is a wild rabbit or a hare, polar bears, and deer. Which one of these four does not belong in the forest? That's right, it's the polar bear. The polar bear lives in a cold environment. The other three would live in the forest. And the last habitat, the desert. Here we have a bird, and this bird is in a cactus. Cactus will grow in the desert. Here we have a snake, the camel, and starfishes. Which ones will not live in the desert? That's right, the starfish. They will live under the water in the ocean. So, this bird here that lives in the desert, the snake, and the camel will all live in a desert habitat. So if you got all three correct, very good.
Animal habitats. For today, we will learn about the habitats of animals. So friends, where do you live? That's right, you live in houses. You live at home. But what about other animals? Where do they live? Every living animal needs a place to live, and also food and water. Just like how you live in houses, animals also have a place that they like to call home. Different animals live in different places. So, an animal's home is called habitats. Let's say it again together, friends. Animal's home is called habitats. Let's say it together one more time. Animal's home is called habitats. Good job! There are animals that live underwater and animals that live on land. Fishes live in water. Some fishes live in the sea by the beach. So friends, what habitats do fishes live in? Spot on! They live in the sea. Let's name together a few animals that live in the sea. The sea is a habitat for crabs, starfish, turtles, and seahorses. The animals around us that live on land usually are animals that live in the forest. So friends, the forest is animals' habitat. Good job! Now let's name together a few animals that live in the forest. Forest is the habitat of monkeys, raccoons, squirrels, and birds. An animal needs 4 things to survive in their habitat. What are these 4 things? Food, water, air, and shelter. Habitats can be big like a forest, or it can be small like a pond. Wow! Look at how much you're learning! Now you know that different animals live in different habitats. Animals are our friends. It is important to care for animals and always be kind towards them. Thank you for watching, my friends. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!
Welcome back, everyone. This is our first afternoon activity for the new term. This activity is one that we should be familiar with. It's not too difficult. It's all about shape, words, and identifying the correct shapes. Now the instruction says to identify and color the shapes. Now this activity might look easy, because I'm sure mummies and daddies are thinking that their children already know all of these shapes. But do your children know how to read all of these shape words? Because that's the challenge here. This activity should be done independently. We are now into the second term. All work should be very independent, meaning that no parent is sitting there telling the child that this word is square. Look for all the squares. A child now has to be able to sound out and read all of these shape words. So I did the first one here. The first word is circle on your paper. And I looked at all of the shapes in the same row. A row goes across. So all of the shapes in the same row. And I looked for the 2 circles because there were 2 of them, and I colored both of them in the same color because the word here is circle. So the instruction wants me to identify and color the circles in blue, but I'm only talking about the circles in this row here. Then you will move on now to the next one, and you will color the shapes that match the shape word. So here I have all of the shape words. I'm going to read all of these shape words with you. The first word here, let's sound it out. K, E, R, K, L, E. K, E, R, K, L, E. K, R, K, L. K. Now that doesn't sound correct, but in a situation like this, let's look at the letters again. We know that C can sometimes go S. Let's try it like that. Circle. 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 Now, if your child has problems trying to identify that C makes the sound S here, a parent can assist with that part. But what I want to see is that the child is pulling the sounds together to make the shape word circle. Circle. And here I will draw a circle to represent circle. If you see the word circle, you will be coloring the circles. Let's do this one. T, R, E, A, N, G, L, E. Now let's break it down. T-R-I, T-R-I, tr-I, tr-I, try, an-gle, an-gle, angle, triangle, triangle. A triangle has 3 sides. Let's do the next one. H-E-A-R-T. 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 Heart. 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 A heart has 2 humps with a point at the bottom. Do you see the 2 humps and a point at the bottom? Let's do this one. S-Q-A-R-E. 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 Square. 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 A square has 4 sides that are all the same. Next one is an easy one. Oval. 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 Now the circle goes round and round, but an oval is like a stretched out circle. S-T-R. S-T-R. Star. A star has 5 points. And the last one. R-E-C-T-A-N-G-L. R-E-C-T-A-N-G-L. Rectangle. Rectangle with 2 short sides and 2 long sides. So let's see now if you can color the correct shapes in each row to match the shape words here.